Finding someone you exactly match with in all areas of sexuality, that's a tough bill. At the end of the day, the goal is, do you feel good about the sex you're having? Dig deep down inside of ourselves and figure out, where are we on the spectrum of sexual repression? Have we been socially or culturally held back, brainwashed? Hello, all you sexy people. I'm Shauna, and welcome to Too Taboo for You, where we are changing misconceptions about sex and disability. Today we're talking about a topic that's particularly interesting to me, sexual repression. Throughout my background, I've found that too many people are sexually repressed. That's why I chose marriage and sex as my therapy specialty. People are repressed. When I say repressed, I mean restrictive. Sexually restrictive, let's say. They have ideas and attitudes that are stifling their sexual thoughts and urges. My opinion is this is caused by a multitude of things. Things such as society or culture. There you have a fear of STDs, pregnancies, traumas in the past, either of the person who's projecting this on you or your own traumas from the past. I find that there's a lack of information or conflicting information that causes immense anxiety. When you have the anxiety, then you have the fear. When you have the fear, you have the repression. Another thing that's contributing to this repression are gender roles and where they play in our society these days. It can be anything from women shouldn't enjoy sex because if they do, that makes them a slut, or any other derogatory term. That men are more macho the more women they have. There's some kind of Superman for going out and conquering all these women. Additionally, masculinity or femininity when it comes to gender identity adds to the mix of anxiety and repression. But my personal opinion is that the single largest contributor to the repression across the board in our society is organized religion. That's the root of a lot of people's hang-ups. I know there's a lot of Catholic guilt. I recently learned that Jewish men are taught the art of pleasing a woman. What I don't know is, do the women get taught that? If you know, let me know down below. I'm not certain, but I suspect that some Middle East religions also have very cloistered opinions about sex. It's not surprising that this is where the United States is, since pretty much Puritans founded this country. These were people that were seeking religious freedom, so they set sail for a new land and religious freedom to be really restrained, very staunch in their opinions. And I think it's trickled down over the years, or at least that's my opinion anyway. Now, repressed doesn't mean vanilla, but I think they have the same underlying causes. If you address the causes, you'll fix a myriad of issues. I also want to be clear that I don't believe vanilla means disinterested. I think it's just a smaller box. I look at vanilla as a little more underdeveloped. However, oftentimes when people think of vanilla, derogatory terms come to mind primarily about women, like prudish, frigid, uptight. These things are not all synonymous. Let's say they're on a spectrum, and this whole spectrum would fall under sexually repressed. Here on Too Taboo for You, we plan to dig into this matter with the goal to become much more liberated. Obviously, I am 100% behind personal freedoms, personal choices, 100% autonomy, but the therapist in me and the sex perv are aware that there are so many wonderful things out there that the sexually repressed spectrum aren't really partaking in. And I want everyone to come to the party. With that being said, I'm not going to push anyone in any direction. I'm more of an usher. You came to the theater, I'll just show you to your seats. Let me be your Sherpa on this journey and guide you in a land that I am somewhat familiar with. At the end of the day, the goal is, do you feel good about the sex you're having? Are you fully satisfied? And equally important, is your partner fully satisfied? Now, I'm aware that that's a tall order. Both partners being fully satisfied? Finding someone you exactly match with in all areas of sexuality, that's a tough bill. But it is another important element in searching for the ideal mate? Do you click on political matters, social matters, family matters? Is that a TV show? Religious matters and sexual matters. Too often, partnerships fail because no one considered sexual matters. After the problem of sexual incompatibility is discovered, too often, partners are not willing to explore and see if they can find common ground, just like compromises in every area of a pairing. Here at Too Taboo for You, we talk about the important but taboo topics. First, so you can know yourself better. Second, so you can convey that clearly to your partner, or partners if you choose. And third, with the added bonus of including the disabled community. If you're going to make progress on this adventure, we need to do some inner searching, dig deep down inside of ourselves and figure out, where are we on the spectrum of sexual repression? Are we absolutely not, I had trauma, I can't get over it? Are we, I'm paranoid of getting pregnant or have an STD? Have we been socially or culturally held back, brainwashed? Are we at the social hurdle of gender roles? But I'm a good girl and good girls don't. But I'm a manly man, so I'm gonna go out and just bang every chick I see. Are we at the religious, but you're only supposed to do this to procreate, and this is only for the continuity of the species and not for enjoyment? Where are we at? Are we on any part of that spectrum? If we really want to explore the taboo side of things, we're gonna have to find the exit, pull the emergency brake, and get off this train. This adventure can be filled with so many wonderful experiences. Not all of them are going to be great. I have to be honest, because nothing's 100%. But if we take the right steps, if we learn and explore safely, it'll at least be interesting. And after all, you only live once, so make it interesting. Some of the things you're going to have to learn to do is let go of these hang-ups. I certainly cannot give a magic pill answer to everybody's hang-up. Personally, I think everyone should go to therapy for everything in their life. Because you had a bad week, because your boss is a jerk, because your kids drive you crazy, whatever. I think everyone should go to therapy. But depending on your level of hang-ups, your level of repression or discomfort or guilt, depending on the level of that, you'll have to decide if this is something you want to pursue one-on-one with a specialist. It isn't a good idea to be really far on the spectrum of greatly resistant and think that you can somehow steamroll through an adventure. That could be a recipe for disaster. If you're not in the right frame of mind, if you're not fully healed from a trauma, I would urge you to go to a specialist. P.S. This is not professional advice. So 100% go find your personal licensed specialist. But in order to prepare ourselves for this fantastic journey that we're going on, we certainly need to take this inventory, tell ourselves good girls do, tell ourselves men don't have to just get notches in a bedpost, tell ourselves that it isn't solely for procreation. Open our minds up to the fact that it's like a meal, or it can be a meal. It's like a meal where there's a whole smorgasbord of things available at the sex buffet, let's say. You can come in and go straight to the soup and salad section, but you gotta come in hungry. If you come in already full of ideas of everything you can't do, you're not gonna eat anything. So you need to come in hungry, not starving, because again, we don't think well when we're hangry. But you've gotta be prepared. Do a little homework. And this is why I'm here. I'm here to start a conversation. You can comment with me down below, or maybe this sparks some ideas for you to talk with your partner, or your girlfriends, or your guy friends, your therapist maybe, or whoever you feel comfortable talking to. Let's just agree that when we're packing our baggage for our sex adventure, we are not bringing sexual repression. We're leaving that one at home. Once you dive into your own well and start to pull up anything that might be there from your past, when you start to look at yourself and see, where might I have hang-ups? Where am I closed-minded? Where am I less adventurous? When you do all of that, you're going to be that much closer to being ready to go on this adventure. I will also mention that a little bit of repression a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of doubt might still linger in there, and that feeds your desire to explore. You may keep a little bit of that spectrum in there that's like, well, is this really all they say it is? Is it really as great as I've heard other people talk about? Are guys lying when they say X? Do girls really like Y? I want there to be that certain level of curiosity, the certain level of doubt, the kind of doubt that says, I don't know, but let's go see. That's a good attribute to pack in our bags to bring on the sex adventure. A little bit of healthy skepticism. Hopefully now you've taken a look at yourself. You're starting to rummage around in there and figure yourself out. Because as I said earlier, the more you know yourself, the better communicator you will be, thus have a more enjoyable experience, and the better partner you will be, thus able to provide a better experience. This has been a little pre-travel lesson before we were about to get on board and embark on this adventure. We're heading through security right now. We got our passports ready. We're stamping up things. This has been another fun week where we've prepared for our big journey. Thank you for coming with me on this little tutorial, this little preparation. Prep talk? Pep talk? No, it's a prep talk. We're preparing. I think there's only one more week till we're ready to dive into the juicy stuff. I don't know how juicy it's going to be, but let's just see where it goes, okay? I'd love to hear your comments below. Let's start talking about the taboo things. Bring them into the light. See you back here next week where we will continue changing misconceptions about sex and disability. That's all, folks.